Hey people, welcome to episode 8 of Grief Talks with Noel. Thank you for clicking on this link or this video or however you opened it and checking me out again this week. I appreciate it. As always, if you want to email me, here it goes, grieftalkswithnoel@gmail.com. I'd love to hear your comments, your questions, your concerns, I don't know, anything you want to say. I want to know that you're out there. So if you will take the time to email me, I would really appreciate that. Just to let me know you're watching, let me know that it's been helpful to you. I don't know, encourage me to keep going, whatever you want to say. I greatly appreciate that. So thanks in advance. Today is Wednesday, and that's why we're back again. I'll be perfectly transparent. Today has been a very rough day for me emotionally. I had a rough weekend, actually, a very demanding weekend. I did a lot of stuff this weekend that I had not done in the almost 14 months since I lost my dad. I participated in 3 consecutive ministry related performances, if you will. I had a concert on Saturday night that I was the MC or host for, and then Sunday I participated in 2 worship services, participated in the praise and worship segment in 2 worship services as a guest, and then on Monday I ministered at the homegoing of a friend's mom. So that was a lot for me back to back, and I had not done anything that I guess active in a long time, so it took its toll on me physically and ultimately emotionally, because as I talked about last week, doing things like that is really laborious, especially when your emotional state is in shambles, or the tectonic plates of your emotional state are always shifting. So so today I almost did not record at all. Tonight I almost said, you know what, I'll record tomorrow and I'll just take today off, but I already vowed to myself to take every 5 episodes off. So this is only the 3rd episode since my last break, so I couldn't do that. And I wanted to show you that I'm committed to you, despite the emotional heaviness that I've been feeling today. And then something else happened within my family that really just made me miss my dad. It was a good thing, but it made me miss my dad a whole lot. So I was really having an emotional day all day today. So I'm a bit drained today, but I wanted to keep my commitment to you, to try my best to help you and to help myself to journey through this process called grief, this swampy, disgusting, muddy, watery thing called grief. So I want to continue to help you, and I'm helping myself as well. So I'm here today. Today's episode is called Antisocial Butterfly. Valentine's Day is in 2 days, and I got my, red necklace on. I tried to wear something sparkly and pretty to kind of lift my spirits and give me a little bit more of a jolt. But Valentine's Day is coming up in 2 days, and everybody's talking about being all social and lovey-dovey and all that stuff. So I wanted to do this episode this week because I feel like it was befitting to do so. Antisocial butterfly, and you'll understand what that means soon. So I have always been the kind of, ever since I was a child, I was a very gregarious child, never afraid to get in front of people and do things. I was 7 years old, and I got in front of a crowd of about, I'd say, 20,000 plus people during a church convention, and I recited the 34th Psalm, which is basically a chapter in the Bible, in front of them at 7 years old. And I was not afraid. I'm waving at people, smiling, I was comfortable. I've always been comfortable in front of people. I've always been the kind of person that goes into a room and tries my best to light it up. I've always been considered, a social butterfly. I'm a Sagittarius, and Sagittarius by nature are very fearless and bold and confident. And I don't say that to go too crazy with don't think I'm a soothsayer or anything like that, people of God. But I'm just saying that to say that I find it interesting to explore commonalities between people who are born around the same time of the year. So as a Sagittarius, or people who are Sagittariuses, especially the December Sagittarius, tend to be very outgoing and very upbeat. And so that's been me. I've been the social butterfly pretty much all my life, going into a room, comfortable with being the center of attention, not seeking the attention per se, but just I don't shy away from it. So that's always been me. That was me, I'd say, up until December 18th, 2018, or maybe even December 19th, 2018, before 11:30 p.m. That was me. Never afraid to just be out there and just be up in the forefront. But now I am a different person. I really am. I have a button, an invisible button somewhere on me that I push when I need to do those things in the public eye. So all this weekend, I've been pushing that button, boom, 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 to show up for people, to honor the commitments that I made to them. I had said, yes, I agreed to do these things. Why I agreed to do them back to back like that, I don't know. But I agreed to be there. And so I had to find that button and push it so that I could get the things done that I needed to get done. And I do the same thing with like church work. Like when I need to get things done in church or for my mom or whatever, I kind of just get it done. And that can take its toll on me emotionally because I am really not the same person right now. Emotionally, I am very unpredictable. I'm very erratic emotionally right now. And it's okay if you are too. Grief has that effect on people. I often define grief as the painful process of trying to rewire your entire life after loss. You were not expecting this to happen. You had a plan for your life. You had things you wanted to get done a certain way that you saw things happening, and your loved one was right there in your mind's eye. But now they're gone, and now you've lost them. And so everything is different. Everything is shifted. Everything has changed. And so grief is that process of trying to figure it out, trying to pick up the pieces, trying to restructure your life. And it's painful, and it's okay if it changes you and if you don't feel the same anymore. Your life is not the same. So why in the world should you feel the same? So anyway, I am able, God blesses me, to get things done and to kind of just light up again and do what I have to do. But I end up coming right back down after it's over. And I guess the repeated lighting up and coming down this weekend really kind of just drained me, coupled with what happened with my within my family today. But anyway, I was a social butterfly, and now I'm a different person. So this episode is called Antisocial Butterfly because I kind of want to focus on just the concept of being an antisocial butterfly. And hopefully it'll make a little bit more sense as I go further into it. So I did some research about butterflies. I'm not a bug person at all. I'm not an animal person either. Sorry, PETA. But I did some research about butterflies, and I found some interesting parallels between butterflies and people who are actually grieving. So here we go. There are 4 stages to the life of a butterfly. I didn't know that. 4 stages of a butterfly's life, 4, and 5 stages of grief. Wow, look at that. I didn't show off all 9 fingers. There we go. And 5 stages of grief. So there's a parallel right there. Butterflies move in stages. Grief moves in stages as well. The first stage of a butterfly's life is the egg stage. So the mama butterfly, flies around until she finds the perfect place to lay her eggs. She lays the eggs, and the caterpillars, the baby caterpillars inside of the eggs, actually eat their way through the egg until they come out, and then they eat the shell of the egg. They eat the leaf that they're on. They eat probably the leaf nearby. They just do a lot of eating. Okay, so as the caterpillar, they're constantly growing, constantly expanding, so much so that they start to grow out of their exoskeleton. That's kind of gross, but they start to grow out of their shell pretty much. And I see that as what we were like in life before this major loss happened. Sure, we would have ups and downs. We'd have things that would knock us down, but we continually grow and kind of break the shell, break the limitations that were put on us. So the caterpillar, maybe 3 or 4 times, I think, breaks out of its exoskeleton and has another one underneath that it then expands and hardens, and it keeps going that way. So the caterpillar continuously kind of reinvents itself. And I think that's where we were as well before loss. And so maybe about after the 3rd or 4th time, it finally gets into one final stage where it does not shed its exoskeleton anymore. Instead, it goes into something called the chrysalis. And when it's in the chrysalis, it's in the pupa stage, I think. And pupa just means it's an insect that's neither a caterpillar or not fully developed. So it's not a caterpillar anymore, and it's not a butterfly yet either. It's in this stage of isolation. It's in this self-created, circumstantial shell that has been that it goes in order to, I guess, regroup and to morph into what it's going to be next. I find that to be profound because that is exactly where I am right now. I was this very kind of, effervescent, ebullient, and I still can be person, but for the most part, I've changed now, and I am in a chrysalis of sorts, just like a caterpillar would be, or a pupa would be. I'm not the caterpillar that I once was, but I'm not yet who I'm going to be fully either. So I'm in this chrysalis. I'm in this place of heaviness. We're in this place of isolation, and you might be there too. This heaviness that weighs on you with grief, the feeling of not wanting to be around people, right now. You're in your place of isolation. And I apologize to my friends, often. Well, I'm fortunate enough to that most of my close friends are either not in Connecticut anymore, or they're married and or have young children, and they're too preoccupied anyway to worry about hanging out with me. So that's okay. But everything is hard for me right now in this stage, in this antisocial state of isolation, because my emotions are so all over the place. So hanging out with people is hard. Sticking to commitments is hard. Going places is hard. Going to the grocery store is brutal. Like, my mom and I don't even like to do that because of who you might run into, who's going to see you and tilt their head and say, "Oh, I'm so sorry," or give you these long hugs that you don't really want to participate in. So you avoid that stuff because you just don't want to run into people and be constantly reminded of the thing that you will never forget. Your loved one is gone, and running into people or hanging out with people sometimes is just a reminder, because they're going to ask you, "How are you doing? So how are you? You look good." So to avoid all of that, you stay home. You stay in your chrysalis. You stay in your cocoon, your shell of sorts, until you're ready to emerge. So everything is difficult right now. Going places is hard. Social lives are hard. Social interactions are hard. Dating is hard right now. Valentine's Day is coming up, so I had to touch on that a little teeny bit. All that is hard for me right now. It's just the responsibility of having to show up and be a person, be a friend, be a girlfriend, be a whatever. All that's hard right now. And so I'm in this chrysalis phase right now. So the caterpillar goes from egg to larva to pupa in the chrysalis stage. And then eventually, after it takes a period, I think it takes 10 days or more for the actual caterpillar pupa thing to actually emerge. Eventually, it comes out of the chrysalis when it's ready, and it is now a butterfly. In that chrysalis, it's developed extra legs, it's developed wings, it's developed like everything it needs to develop, antenna, whatever it needs to develop. It's it's become strong enough to emerge from the shell. So hopefully, I believe it, that I'll become strong enough one day, and so will you, for us to emerge from our shell and to actually feel like doing the things that we used to do. Like, I feel my heart goes out to those who don't have the luxury of being antisocial when you want to be, like those that are married and grieving, or those that are moms and dads and grieving. Like, that's hard. But hopefully, I pray that your families have been able to give you the boost that you need. Like, you've been able to love on your children some more. You've been able to love on your spouse some more to give you the support that you need. But I know that someday, may not be tomorrow, may not be next week. I'm 14 months into this thing and I'm not there yet. But someday you will emerge and become the butterfly that we were meant to be. And we will fly again. But even a butterfly doesn't have a perfect flight pattern. They don't fly perfectly. Their flight pattern is all erratic. So it's okay if once we start to fly again, if we don't fly perfectly. So to all my antisocial butterflies out there, don't worry. One day we will emerge. That's all I got for today. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope that something that I said was helpful to you. So don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. I appreciate the new subscribers that I've gotten recently, and let somebody know. I really want to reach the world with these grief talks, and let people know that they're not alone, and there's no shame in expressing how you feel. So I hope to see you again next week, and let's keep talking. Bye.